What's up, guys? This is Professor MJ, sport betting expert and stats university professor. And today I'm going to answer the following question. Should you bet the Bears, the Vikings, the Packers, or the Lions to win the NFC North division in 2019? The answer is coming up. Here are the odds to win the NFC North with 6 well-known online bookies, where I have highlighted in blue the highest odds for each team. Now let me report in a different table the best odds for each team to make it more easy to follow. So if you want to bet the Chicago Bears to win the division this year, the highest odds I found are plus 200 in American format, which is the same as 3.0 in decimal odds. Now if you want to bet the Vikings, the odds are pretty similar, although a little higher at plus 225. Now if you want to bet the team from the frozen tundra, the odds are a bit higher at plus 240. And then you have the Detroit Lions in a class by themselves at about plus 1500. So they are huge underdogs to win this division, which is probably not a surprise to anyone watching this video. If you have watched my previous video about the NFC East, you may remember that I mentioned that there was an arbitrage opportunity with the odds to win the NFC East, which means that you had an opportunity to bet all 4 teams while guaranteeing yourself a net profit no matter who wins the division. Now you may wonder if that's also the case with the NFC North. Well, the answer is yes, but it's a very tiny one, so you won't make very much money doing so. Alright, before we move on to serious business, why not take a quick break by watching a funny clip, which is going to show you that if you have kids, you may not necessarily need to buy expensive stuff to get them entertained, as sometimes just a simple styrofoam cup will do the trick.
I like to fight on that
Let's talk about the Chicago Bears outlook for 2019. Based on the lines maker, they are favored to repeat as NFC North champions for the second year in a row. Well, I am not drinking the Chicago Kool-Aid. I see some similarities between the 2017 Jacksonville Jaguars and the 2018 Chicago Bears. Both had stout defenses that really dominated their opponents. The 2017 Jags allowed just 16.8 points per game, while the 2018 Bears gave up an average of 17.7 points per game. Also, both teams had an okay quarterback. Blake Bortles had a 21 to 13 TD to interception ratio in 2017 compared to 24 to 12 for Trubisky last year. So, what happened to Jacksonville following that superb and surprising 2017 season? They crashed down to a 5-11 record last year. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying the 2019 Bears will end with the same disappointing record. However, I do expect them to regress quite a bit. Their defense played awesome last season. I just don't see how they can be as good this year. They may not perform the same, or they could suffer some injuries. Also, defensive coordinator Vic Fangio left for Denver. The transition to a new coordinator may not be smooth. In other words, it's much more likely they will regress this year than get even better. As for Mitch Trubisky, he has not convinced me yet that he's a good quarterback. And their offense lost running back Jordan Howard, who has rushed for more than 900 yards in each of the past 3 seasons with the Bears. Tariq Cohen is a great change of pace runner, but I don't believe he can play full time, especially with his small frame. So the Bears will need either Mike Davis or rookie David Montgomery to really step up. The Bears also have issues at the kicker position. Eddie Pinheiro is the lone kicker left, but apparently he has not locked the job yet. Therefore, overall, I feel like the Bears are being overrated by the general public, and I would stay away from them as favorites to win the NFC North in 2019. Let's move on to a preview of the 2019 Minnesota Vikings. Prior to last year, many experts picked them to go to the Super Bowl. Their defense was expected to dominate, and the arrival of quarterback Kirk Cousins was good news. Their defense did fairly well by finishing ninth in terms of points allowed and fourth in terms of yards allowed. But to be honest, more was expected from them. And unlike the Bears defense, I believe there is room for improved play. I also like their very balanced attack. Despite criticism, QB Kirk Cousins still finished 2018 with 30 touchdown passes versus 10 interceptions. He has probably the best wide receiver duo with Adam Thielen and Stefon Diggs. Tight end Kyle Rudolph is also back. He's been a steady guy by catching at least 49 passes in each of his past 4 seasons. And they've also added rookie tight end Irv Smith out of Alabama with their second round pick in the draft. The guy that most people are overlooking is running back Dalvin Cook. I believe this will be his breakout season. He has shown great flashes in his first 2 seasons, but injuries have plagued him. He has carried the ball just 2 times in his first 3 preseason games, but one of these 2 rushes ended with an 85-yard touchdown run. He's very explosive, and he can also catch the ball well out of the backfield. I also like how Minnesota solidified its offensive line by drafting Garrett Bradbury in the first round. Still, the offensive line play is one of the few question marks regarding this team. But overall, I do like their chances of winning this division. Let's now preview the 2019 Green Bay Packers. The relationship between Aaron Rodgers and Mike McCarthy was not good at all. I read reports about how they never spoke to each other. With McCarthy now gone, Aaron Rodgers will be very motivated to show that his former head coach was responsible for the disappointing 6-9-1 record last year. However, I'm a bit wary of teams working with new coaches, new schemes, new game plans. Continuity is an important key to success in the NFL. Matt LaFleur may or may not be a good head coach in the NFL, but it does take time to adapt to changes. This guy will not be surrounded by as much talent as he used to be. Randall Cobb is gone, so Green Bay will need Valdez-Scantling to step up his game as the new number 2 guy behind Davante Adams. Tight end Jimmy Graham was a big disappointment last year with just 2 TD receptions. Now at age 32, Can he really step up his game? At least they have some continuity on the offensive line, with 4 returning starters. That's good news for Aaron Rodgers. I like what I saw from running back Aaron Jones. He's a good back, but he has missed time in each of his first 2 NFL seasons. And he must stay healthy because the Packers are not loaded at this position. The defense was average at best in 2018. They need to rush the passer more efficiently. They lost Clay Matthews, whose play was declining anyway, and they signed Preston Smith from Washington and Zadarius Smith from Baltimore. I like the signing of safety Adrian Amos, who was a consistent contributor with the Bears. Remember though that the Packers lost Mike Daniels, who was a solid defensive lineman. I did not like the Packers' 2 first-round selections, Rashan Gary and Darnell Savage, as I thought there were better alternatives still available. But time will tell whether the Packers made good picks or not. Overall, the talent level around Aaron Rodgers is below average, and there are some question marks surrounding Green Bay's defense. I might have considered betting them to win the division if their odds had been higher. But considering they are close to Chicago's and Minnesota's, I'm going to stay away from them. Let's now review the Detroit Lions outlook for 2019. Matthew Stafford is entering his 11th season with the Lions. He consistently gets decent stats, but he's not a game changer and he's not viewed as a winner. The talent around him is okay, albeit not great. It will be interesting to see how stud rookie tight end TJ Hawkinson does in his first NFL season. He has looked great thus far in camp. He and Jesse James should be a solid tight end duo. The Lions signed defensive lineman Mike Daniels from Green Bay and Trey Flowers from New England. They were good against the run last year, and it should continue to be the case in 2019. However, the pass defense is likely to be a liability. In conclusion, the Lions don't stand much of a chance to win this tough division, where the other 3 teams are all playoff contenders. Alright, so what is my final pick to win the NFC North division in 2019? Well, I am writing off the Lions right off the bat. They are an average team with limited upside. Matthew Stafford won't suddenly transform himself into Tom Brady. We know what to expect of him, which is decent but not spectacular play. The remaining 3 teams have odds that are all similar, so it all goes down to determining which team we believe is the best among the group. And my pick goes to the Minnesota Vikings at plus 225 odds, which is the same as 3.25 in decimal format. They have a well-balanced attack and a good defense that has ranked in the top 10 in terms of points allowed in each of the last 4 seasons. Meanwhile, I expect the Bears to come back to reality and the Packers to go through some bumps after hiring a new coach and fielding average talent on both sides of the ball. That's it for today. Can I ask you a very tiny favor? If you enjoyed this video, just click the thumbs up button, or even better yet, you can make a comment below to let me know who's your pick to win the NFC North. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll talk to you again very soon.